And what's going on? Kyle Henderson, and Bama Football on YouTube with some Week 4 college football reactions. I want to ask you right now, starting with the Miami Hurricanes, who are now 4-0 on the season, is this a title contending team? I know we talk about Miami frequently, and we kind of look at their schedule, but when you look to the ACC and you see that Miami, Georgia Tech, Florida State are there up at the top, do you think that this team, Miami, specifically now that they have Carson Beck, is a title contender? Do you think that Mario Cristobal finally has his group that can really make a run? Tonight against Florida, it wasn't an overwhelming performance. I thought Florida probably, played a little bit more inspired for Billy Napier, but even though the score felt close, it still felt like the game was out of reach, if that makes sense. What do you think about Miami? Sound off inside the comment box. How good is this team? Top 5 team? Are they for real? Would they beat an Oklahoma? Would they beat Auburn? You think of who's better, Miami or Florida State? Something to chew on. And also, who wins the ACC? Right now, if you had to kind of rank the teams in the ACC, is it this easy? Is it Miami, Florida State, Georgia Tech? Do you have, I don't know, maybe Georgia Tech at number 2? I don't know. They look like a pretty good football team. All right, moving on. Let's talk about this South Carolina-Missouri game. I think when you look to South Carolina and Missouri, there's a lot to take away. Missouri is a pretty good football team, and I think the things that stood out to me was Pribula. I mean, the guy is super athletic, and that's the quarterback that Missouri has been missing for quite some time. Eli Drinkwitz can get his team to play inspired football. I did not think that they would beat South Carolina. I enjoyed watching this football game. As you know, Alabama plays Missouri and South Carolina each on the road. So when they go to Columbia to play Missouri, that's going to be an interesting matchup. I think they're certainly beatable, but I think they play inspired football. They will be a lot better this year when Alabama goes over there because they do have their quarterback. Remember when Alabama shut them out last season, they were missing all sorts of offensive components. That looks like a pretty good football team. What do you think of Missouri? What's your assessment of the Tigers? They're currently undefeated. For South Carolina, look, Lenore Sellers is that guy. He can make some damn good throws. I mean, I saw him look downfield, throwing on the run. That's a pretty good football team. Now, they've been underwhelming this season. I thought that they would be a lot better than they were. I think this is a team that isn't playing to its potential, but I did enjoy the game. As you know, Alabama plays both. Which game do you think will be more challenging? Still going to South Carolina or to Missouri? Sound off inside the comment box. Let's talk about Vanderbilt and Diego Pavia. I saw someone inside the comment box. I don't know if they're joking or not, saying that Vanderbilt looks like the 4th best team in the SEC. I don't know. I'm going to give you my SEC rankings on Sunday after I've, kind of let the dust settle from this. Vanderbilt's a good team. Look, they haven't, what's their quality win so far, right? Tonight they beat up on Georgia State, but watching Vanderbilt, they're fast. Diego Pavia, he's a playmaker. He gets that team going. They kind of play off his spirit. This is a team that I think it's easy for these guys to get going because they play with the underdog mentality. Like, even though they beat Alabama last year, people still don't really respect Vanderbilt, I don't think. So they don't have a problem getting up for any type of game. They're fast, good on special teams. What do you think about Vanderbilt? As you know, following Georgia, Alabama will tangle with Vanderbilt, a team that did beat Alabama last season. I'm curious to get your take on Vanderbilt. Arch Manning and Texas, now they beat up on Sam Houston. Last week they struggled to get past UTEP. As we talk about a team like Texas, who is currently, and I look, tonight they got things going. Arch Manning had, 5, 6 touchdowns, whatever it was. I knew that they would try to get him involved and try to get some momentum going for him. How good is this Texas team? Is this still the Texas team that many thought in the preseason would be like a title contending team? Are they tops in the SEC? Let me ask you this. Where would you have them ranked? Do you feel, and maybe you haven't seen enough college football, I don't know, but if you watch Texas, I've watched them a couple times. How do they compare to like an Oklahoma, an Auburn, a Vanderbilt, a Missouri? I'm telling you, there's a lot of teams with a lot of parity. That's why I feel that the SEC is going to start cannibalizing each other. I could see teams with 2, 3 losses. I mean, last year there was a lot of teams with 3 losses. So looking at Texas, I think the jury's still out for me. I need to see them do it against a tougher opponent. They still don't have a quality win, in my opinion. Who they have, they're 3-1. They lost to Ohio State, but they beat San Jose State. They beat UTEP, and then they beat Sam Houston. They don't have a quality win just yet. Jury's still out for me on Texas. What about you? Talking about Illinois. I told you. Look, if I was right on any two things so far in the preseason, it was that Clemson was not going to be a title contending team, and that Illinois, I couldn't even imagine where these guys were in the preseason. Illinois and these teams from the Big Ten, they were this year's Indiana, right? And I know Indiana beat them. And I have to say, Indiana's quarterback, I will say this, he did throw some very good passes. I was watching all 4 games on the screen, but I wasn't blown away with them, right? I don't think that Illinois or a team like Indiana is able to jump into the SEC and compete. I don't think that those teams would even be in the top 7, 8. I think that those teams would struggle with a Mississippi State. I honestly do. That's just my opinion. So Illinois, you're cooked. You were who we thought you were. You're out of the playoffs. Indiana, you are also a pretender. And I think that they will be exposed later on in the season. I hope they are, because I don't want one of these teams, because as you look at the Big Ten, they already have 3 playoff teams, right? Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State. You don't want them grabbing another spot, right? Could that be Indiana? I really hope not. And finally, some thoughts on Florida State. Look, this team scored 77 points this year. They scored 66 points today. They beat Alabama 31-17. They look like a buzzsaw today. Now, the biggest storyline was that Tommy Castellanos, right, that he went out with the injury. Well, according to War Chant, the guy came back and he was seen running on the sideline. So that's the good update for Florida State. As I mentioned in the opener, who wins the ACC? Could it be this team? They do look like a buzzsaw. You know what's crazy to me is they scored 35 points in the first quarter. I don't care who you're playing. They played Kent State, by the way. I don't care who you're playing. Scoring 35 points in the first quarter is impressive. Now, as we kind of look forward, October 4th is when Florida State will play Miami. If you had to choose inside the comment box who would win that game right now based on what you've seen, Miami or Florida State, let me know inside the comment box. And I hope you guys enjoyed this college football wrap. I put a lot into these. If you could please take a minute and smash that thumbs up button, it would really help me out. I really appreciate you guys. I know the bye weeks, it's tough to get through when Alabama doesn't play, but you're a college football fan. I'm a college football fan, and I appreciate you guys kicking it with me, as always, right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Let me know inside the comment box, too, what you got for your top 5 SEC teams right now. So your top 5 SEC teams. I'll give my SEC rankings on Sunday right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Night, fam. Have a good one, and I'll catch you guys on Sunday morning. See ya.